question for you, but in some way for us. How can we support you, and you as the stand-in, not you as Sam so much, but how can we support this new development so that it really benefits humanity? What can we as,
The thing I really hoped for is happening, which is a global conversation with all of the passion and hope and fear and ugliness and beauty that is now happening about how we want the future to look, how we're going to think about equity, how we're going to think about technology, how we're going to think about our lives, the rules of society. And we weren't sure that people were ever going to care while there was still enough time to act on it. And now people really do. And I feel very happy and grateful for that. So the thing that I think we needed support from to get to the right outcome here is really happening. And people are clearly taking time out from all of the other priorities and busyness and demands on their time to debate this, to wrestle with the issues, to put these regulatory things in place, but more than that, to make the social decisions. And I'm really pleased about that.
So Jack, as
Thank
we
you all.
And how about the spiritual journey? Do you feel like is there a way that we can support everybody in that inner development just as we support them? And here's this external technology, it's amazing, it's incredible, and it's great. Whether it's a new iPhone or new AI, there's all that kind of amazement. And then there's the inner world, and I'm sure you know people, I know people, they have all this fancy technology, they make all this money, and they're kind of miserable, right? In the end, greed, hatred, and delusion kind of increases. The money doesn't dissipate that. And I'm curious, is there a way in which you feel like as a culture we can kind of, or maybe it's already happening, we can kind of reinforce that we take time for our inner life that hopefully is just as important as what we create externally?
I would love to hear what Jack has to say about that.
And that is, that's the game, really.
That is the game.
That's where we are, and somehow consciousness, life has put us in this place, and we are, as I said the other day on the stage, we're the nation of nuclear giants and ethical infants in some way. Yeah. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and so the technological development now is demanding in some way that we also develop these other capacities.
But the algorithms largely get us to spend more time in that zone,
so
and less
far,
time with our friends
and that's
and family.
True. You raised the danger, and there was the social dilemma, which everybody's watched, and then now there's the AI dilemma, or those kind of concerns. I think we're in a bigger game than that.
Okay.
This is bigger than our iPhones. And in some way, I think it is really going to, as you say, it's going to change the outer society, but it's going to demand that we start to look at what are our values, and how do we support each other, and can we actually respond to the poverty in a way that makes it so that we honor everybody and we honor the earth. This is in our laps now, and it's our hands.
Yeah.
And so then you get the inner and the outer somehow needing to come together.
Right. I think the challenge I have, Jack, is that there's billions and billions of dollars being spent every year to get you to look at your phone more.
Yes.
Right? There's a whole industry to look at your thing for more, and there's not as much of an industry, if you will, to support you putting down your phone, talking to a human being, going for a walk, sitting, practicing some form of inner journey or meditation. So I'm just kind of curious. There's one side has lots of bandwidth and focus, and the other side has less. And maybe ChatGPT and other AIs will kind of solve some of the problems that give us more time. But it does seem that technology itself can be so immersive that sometimes, I go into stores sometimes, or restaurants, and everyone's looking at their phone. Yeah. And a part of me is like, well, I look at my phone a lot too, who cares? Another part of me is kind of sad, because it's like, oh, we're not connecting as people anymore. And I'm just curious if maybe that's my old story that I need to let go of, that's like, well, this is just a time where, most kids spend 7 hours of their life on their phone, and that's just life, right? Or how much of it is like, hold it, are we losing something that's really important? And can we kind of maybe remind ourselves that's like, oh yeah, I need to spend time in nature. I need to connect with a friend, or I need to So I'm curious how both of you see that. Is there anything we need to do about that?
I think it's a fabulous question and a really central one. And I'm somehow, at my best, envisioning, people are already typing into ChatGPT, write me a story or do a play, or, a young friend of mine had ChatGPT write a letter from Buddha to Dracula. Buddha was saying to Dracula, we've been around a long time, both of us. I'm the Buddha, and I just want to note that your form of livelihood is really not necessarily good for you or other beings. There are other ways to nourish yourself. It was really fun. What I want somehow is AI to help us design a life that has the very things that you talk about, that has human connection and value and time and nature and so forth. We know it's possible, that's a different kind of integration where we're served by it rather than serving it. And we are on the cusp of something very big that's happening. So these values, and at least that kind of a vision, really has to be kept in mind and so forth. And I don't know, I'll note this, I don't know if you want to talk about it, Sam, but there's also a whole revolution in energy, and Sam's been involved in the nuclear fusion world and believes, he can speak for himself, that we could have nuclear fusion power, which is safe, totally safe, available in large amounts in the next few years. Again, this is revolutionary. No more need for oil, no more need for all this kind of stuff. I'm saying it only because our imagination is being asked to open both in terms of the technology, but also then how, if we have that kind of energy, what do we do with our lives, in our inner life, and how do we care for one another? So I don't know what
energy and inner life, Sam. And
what I hope with AI is that it serves our individual will, and that we can explain what we want in our best moments. We can have a conversation to figure out what that really is when we're not tired, when we're not distracted, when we're not enjoying those dopamine hits of scrolling or whatever, and say, like, this is what I want you to help me with. This is what I want myself to be. This is how I want to spend my time. And then the system, as faithfully as it can, the tool as faithfully as it can, helps encourage that. If people want to scroll on their phone all day, I think that's totally valid. But you should really want that and not just being like dopamine hacked on it. And if you want, I'd like mostly live on a ranch with no cell phone service. If you want to not have cell phones, like, I think that's great. And you should be able to do that too. But what I hope is that this is a technology, and the way that we make societal decisions about this prioritize amplification of your individual will for yourself.
Wonderful.
And I think technology has not always done that. But the shape of this particular technology means we have a very good chance to get it right.
Beautiful.
The fact that it can understand
and support
language,
our
natural
intention.
thing, and then help us with that is very powerful.